Welcome to Let Me Be Frank with Mike. I'm Mike. Here's Frank.
Good afternoon, Mike.
Good afternoon. It was an interesting week last week. A very interesting week last week. We're going to be doing something different, actually. You could see our different background. I guess we're just changing things up all over the place. But
how you like my suit?
You're upstaging me, and I don't really like it that much, to be honest.
What happened to Detroit?
You look too good.
What happened to Detroit?
Oh, baby, we'll get to that game, Frank. Don't get me excited. We finally got a win, baby.
Yeah, okay,
Let's
Green
go. Didn't blow the lead for once. Jeez Louise. I mean,
Okay.
how many times can we do it? But, I mean,
That's true.
excited to beat the Packers. Love to see Aaron Rodgers struggle. Anyway, like I said, doing something different, doing something new, giving you guys a little bit more consistency because I know you need that in your life. We all do. Podcast will be up every Wednesday night now. I know you guys are like, oh, it's never up on time. It's not up here. It's not up there. When is it going to be up? When is it going to be up? Wednesday nights. Lock it in. It's done. Done deal. Wednesday night. Be there. Be square.
And hit that subscribe button.
And hit that like button, too. Give us some love, people.
Yes, definitely.
But another thing that we're changing up, listen, we always talk about it. Every single podcast we talk about it.
Very true.
We're taping this on Tuesday. It's 3 o'clock here on the West Coast. We're taping it on Tuesday. Things change throughout the week. Injury reports change. People get injured. Different things happen. I mean, the last couple of weeks, there was a bunch of trades on Tuesday. I mean, it's the NFL, right? It's crazy. It's been a crazy year this year, so crazy things happen. So what we're going to do now is we're going to give out our picks. Don't get me wrong. We're not going to skimp you guys. But check out our video. Every Saturday night, we're going to have up our revised picks. And you know what? If we
put it under the comments section.
Yeah, it'll be under the comment section for us. It'll be right up there ready for you guys. So check it out Saturday night. I'm going to try and get it up about 5 p.m. West Coast time, 8 p.m. East Coast time. So, just check it out so you can get the most up-to-date plays. I'll try and put a little bit of a blurb with each play so you guys are, not following us blindly.
Yeah, we do add more plays by the end of the week.
Yeah, or we take some away. Like, for example, Frank, you backed off that Buffalo play, thank God.
Yes, it was brutal. I mean, it went from 13.5, 12.5, by game time, 10.5.
And you were saying that
I looked
where
up
the money comes, it's been
the whole year.
Yeah.
When the money has come in, those plays have actually won.
Yeah.
Back in my day, during the Stardust in the 1980s, when the line kept moving up and up and up, our game was to go against it, go against the movement. In today's world, it's not my daddy's NFL anymore.
It's not your daddy's NFL nor mine.
It's not. And I tell you, and like you said, look at Buffalo. They lost the game outright. I did check out the injury report. They were missing their middle linebacker. Von Miller was supposed to be out, but he ended up playing. Wilson for the Jets, the wide receiver, was supposed to be out. He showed up and played very well. But as you saw, the Jets ran the ball very well.
Yeah, even without Breece Hall, I was surprised how they could just run all over that Bills defensive front. But they were missing Milano, which is a big deal for them, and they had a couple injuries in the secondary. I think Poyer got injured in that game as well. But Frank, enough of that. Check out our comments, like and subscribe, and you know what? If you guys give us lots of love, maybe me and Frank will talk about putting some props up there, putting a parlay up there for some extra, money. We'll talk about it, but show us some love and check out the comment section on Saturday night.
Let's do over this real quick. Our Dakota picks won last week.
Oh my gosh.
And the teaser.
Yeah, we got to recap last week. So last week, I went 2-3 on the plays that I gave out on the show. I wasn't on all of them by game time. Some of them I backed off of. It was different, but we're just going to go with, until we do the comments thing, which will start this week, we're just going to go with our play. So I was 2-3, Frank. You were, did Minnesota cover? They won by 3, but what was the number last week?
The number actually was 3.5.
Okay.
They actually lost, but like I tell everybody, and what'd you call me a couple weeks ago? The juice man?
The juice man.
I will lay the juice because
so you bought it down.
I bought it down, so I ended up pushing. But again, our folks out there, remember, 3 points, 7 points, 10 points. If that line's 7.5, get it down to 7. If it's 3.5, get it down to 3. You'd rather have a push than a loss if it comes down to a field goal.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that theory, but I mean, a win's a win, and that's what you're going for. Yeah. You're just trying to cash tickets.
I'm trying to cash tickets, exactly.
Yeah, whether you're laying 200, 300, 400.
Look at Tampa. I ran up there late Sunday morning, and the line was 3. And I went up there, and I told the guy, I says, I want down to 2.5. And he says, well, it's going to cost you $1.36. I don't care what it costs me. I want it under a field goal.
And it cashed for you.
It cashed for me. So
crazy game that was.
We are going. Can I talk about that game for a second?
Well, let's just review our plays real quick. We'll get to that game because it's all over our board. But so last week I went 2-3. The Ravens covered, and that was a lean. The Ravens covered, and the Chargers covered. That was a play. So I went 1-1 on plays, 1-2 on leans. The losses were Miami, which depending on when you got it, you could have pushed on it because they won by 3. And then the Cardinals were pathetic last week. We'll get to that. And, oh, gosh, what was my last play? It definitely didn't make my card by the end of the week. But the point is I went 2-3. Frank went 0-2. But we did hit our teaser and Dakota Dog of the Week. My Lions came through, baby. I should have wore the jersey and repped it out. And we'll talk about them again here today. But they won. So speaking of Dakota Dog of the Week and teaser, we've been hot on those back-to-back weeks, plus money winning. I mean, it's good stuff. So let's just throw it out there right now. We'll give you our Dakota Dog of the Week and teaser of the week right now. So we have Steelers for Frank and Lions for me, and then our teaser is going to be the Rams for Frank. He's going to tease that through 0, which, like you guys know, I'm not a big fan of, but it seems to work out for him when he does it usually. But Rams to +3, and then Panthers for me to +9. That line's kind of all over the place at different books. So in our book, it's 3. At some books, it's 3.5. At some books, it's 2.5. So just try and get the best of the number if you can. But, Frank, let's kick it off right away with your picks. We might as well call this the NFC West show because it looks like all your picks are from the NFC West, Frank.
I didn't even realize that until you just pointed it out.
Well, they are. So
I'm looking at it now. Yes.
So let's kick it off straight up.
Well, I'm going to start off with L.A.
Okay.
Okay. This is a hard pick for me, to be honest with you. It's just not so much that the Rams are – their offense is just pitiful. Actually, we're going to talk about. Might as well talk about the Tampa.
Yeah, talk
Rams
about it now.
Right now,
this is your time.
The Rams held Tampa to 6 points. I think he threw for 50 times. Brady did, and they just shut him down.
Yeah, he threw for 58 times. That's insane.
Yeah, and they couldn't go nowhere. To the end of the game, 1 minute and 52 seconds left. Rams got the ball. They put a stop on Tampa. They had this game. All you got to do is get a first down, kill some time, and then maybe your defense won't be pressured with 1 minute and 52 seconds.
100%.
3 plays. One up the middle, the second one a sweep, and the third one up the middle again. 3 and out. That poor defense for Rams had to come out and stop them again. Well, unfortunately, lucky for me because I had Tampa.
And you can only give Brady so many chances. I mean, we can't forget.
Very true.
We get that the Buccaneers have sucked this year. We get them that they've sucked a lot of people's hard-earned dollars out of their pockets. But at the end of the day, I mean, let's just be honest with ourselves, Frank. Tom Brady's still one of the greatest, if not the greatest quarterback of all time. And if you're going to give him 2 chances to go down and get a game-winning drive, I mean, you're crazy.
And how many times have he done that in his career?
I mean,
many.
I mean, you might as well just go take your $200 and throw it at the roulette table if you're going to give Brady 2 shots.
I'll tell you why I like the Rams.
Tell me.
Okay. So the Rams, they're playing Arizona. It's not so much as the Rams, their defenses should beat Arizona alone, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But we are going to need that offense. But here's the thing. Arizona's defense is allowing 17 points a game. They gave up 30 points in the last 3 games. 2.5 fewer points than Detroit's given up.
Hey, man, don't you knock on those lines.
I just had to throw that in there. Arizona has 3 backups on the offensive line. So with my defense on the Rams, if they can shut down Tampa, I think they can shut down Arizona easily. But I tell you what, Stafford better get his butt moving because you might see a coach change if they blow this game against Arizona, perfectly honest with you.
No, there's no way they get rid of McVay. But I will say, Frank, I can't talk shit on you too much for this pick because also I only have 2 picks, and LA is one of mine. Listen, this Cardinals defense, although they force turnovers a lot, they got another interception for a touchdown this last week. Defense it's Swiss cheese. I mean, heck, Frank, you could go out there with your bad lungs, your bad knees, and your bad suit and go out there and probably throw for a couple touchdowns.
I like this.
It does look pretty good. But
my
point is here, Frank, is that this Cardinals defense can't really stop anyone. And I get that the Rams offense is anemic and it doesn't look that good. They can't run the ball that well. Stafford is throwing picks and can't find people, and the offensive line is Swiss cheese. But do we really think that this Rams team is going to miss the playoffs? Because I don't.
No, and I think did they lose the last 2 games? I think they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they ain't going to lose this game. I had them at -7. You had them at -5.5.
Yeah.
Line opened up at 3.5. Actually went down to 3. I'm not figuring out what Butthead put that
together.
In Arizona, yeah.
Listen, this Arizona offense is dynamic too, but I think that this Rams defense is going to step up.
Hook.
And they have to step up. The Rams have to step up. In my opinion, this game right here, if they lose it, their season's in dire straits. I mean, they're going to be They're going to be 3-6. Are they really going to be able to come back? And San Francisco looks great, which we'll get to again because Frank just loves the NFC West this week.
I do.
I mean, he literally picked every single one that he could because the Rams are playing the Cardinals, so he picked the other 3. Little teaser for you guys. But the point is that this Rams team has got to win this game. You know, I'm not a huge fan of playing situational spots, but this game, in my opinion, I know it's still relatively early in the year, but it is do or die. You have to win this game if you're Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford does great when his back's against the wall, so I think he's going to come out here. I think he's going to put a hurting on the Cardinals, and I think it's a relatively easy cash, and we're getting 3. We get the push condition. All they basically, in my opinion, Frank, if you're getting a line of 3 or under, if you think that team's going to win, take it. That's my opinion.
And if Arizona does pull this game out at the end of the game, probably going to be no more than a field goal. So if you're doing FanDuel, which has many alternate spreads, like I did with Tampa, I bought it down to 2.5 from 3.
Yeah, and
I wanted off that number.
You also have Rams on a teaser, which gets you that +3. So, but
all right, let's go. I got Seattle now.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead, Frank.
All right, Seattle's defense. Wow. The defensive coach. I think he's a new defensive coach. I can't remember it's Chris something.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, but anyways, this guy's doing an awesome job with Seattle on the defense. This defense right now is tied for first in the number of sacks, 19. They're third in pressure, 39. Second in batted down passes, 5. Tied for second in turnovers generated, 7. First overall, and the offense is first overall in points per game, 16.5. Geno Smith, another unbelievable year, 73.1% completion. He's got for 2,199 yards. He's got 15 touchdowns and 4 interceptions.
We get it, Frank. They're good. They're good.
I'm just throwing some numbers out there. Let's try to convince you guys that Seattle might be a good play, even on a teaser or any way you want to throw this game out there.
Does this
Tampa's defense is good, but their offense is just that bad.
I have to ask you, do you think this line seems a little bit fishy? Because it smells a little bit fishy to me, Frank, and you know we say.
It smells like a rat.
And it looks like a rat.
It is a rat.
Yeah, and that's.
And what's that line? I have it, well, actually, I have it -6. You actually had it about right. You had a +2. And what's the line? +1.5?
I think it's -2.5 now for the Bucks. It's gone up. Did a cat catch your tongue there, Frank?
Yeah. You mean you're telling me Tampa's giving them 2?
Tampa is giving them 2.5, and Frank has this line at
switched.
Seattle -6.
That's
This
an
might be
8-point difference.
This might be Frank's biggest bet of the whole year, guys.
I'm
Get
going to
excited.
think about this.
Get excited.
Yes, I am. I'm getting to, and I can buy it up to 3 with a point.
It's going to be expensive to buy that up.
It's about $1.50, I think.
Yeah.
So, all right. All right, I was just going to move on to the 49ers.
Wait, I do want to say something about this game, Frank.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Listen, this line seems a little bit fishy to me, okay? I mean, we have to remember that this Bucs defense is good. They just shut down the Rams offense, which I know hasn't been fantastic, but they did shut down the Rams offense. And the problem with this team is it's not the defense. It's the offense getting things going. I mean, the defense is a top 10 defense in the NFL by a lot of metrics. This offense, sadly, is middle of the road at best, and Seattle's is, well, it seems like it's just humming straight along. And the Seattle defense, like Frank said, has been pretty impressive. So why is this line at 2.5? I don't know. I think it's a big game for Brady as well. He just came off this game winner. I think that he might come out hot and take another game. Listen, I know that the Seahawks have looked pretty good. I'm just not super convinced by them. And I think that if this secondary would shut down the Rams receivers, I think they can shut down Seattle receivers. And although Kenneth Walker has been explosive with his plays, he's not as consistent as Penny was. So we'll see how this game goes. I applaud you, Frank. I don't have nearly the same line as you do, and I'll be hoping that you win, but it does seem a little bit fishy. But, I mean, this is the biggest line disparity, Frank, I've ever seen you have. I mean, you got to be throwing a couple grand on this easy.
Well, I'll tell you another thing. Well, I'm going to tell you about a little bit of fear of what's going on in football. We talked about this in the beginning of the podcast. These numbers, when they move that drastic, you can't go get somebody's figuring out something out there. When that line went down from 13.5 to 10.5, and I still ain't forgot that Kansas City Colts game when that line started out at 7, went all the way down to what, 4?
Yeah.
3 or 4?
Yeah.
And the Colts beat them.
Outright.
Jets beat Buffalo. Frisco against Chicago, I think, in the first week.
Yeah, Chicago won outright too.
Yeah, and that line just kept hammering.
You got to watch for those line moves. I mean, listen, there's very sharp people in this industry.
I'm very sure.
There's some guys that just, they get a beat on something. Everyone has their time, right?
This ain't the 1980s, that's for sure.
Listen, to win money at sports betting, you have to hit 52.5% to constantly be making profit.
Very true.
And that may seem like a lot, but it is difficult. And if you find your niche, if you find something good, you got to roll with it.
That's at $1.10, and I play a lot. I use a lot of juice.
I know.
By the laws of probability,
it's not productive.
Should not be productive, and I don't recommend it to anybody. But I'm a numbers guy,
and if you find your niche,
those numbers are in my advantage. I'm going to play them. I'm going to pay it.
I agree. Let's move on though, Frank. Let's move on to 49ers at the Chargers. Chargers looked not so impressive last week, but pulled it out for me. 49ers, I mean, we'll see what they can do. They're coming off a bye, and
we're at home. And their defense has finally kicked it up another degree.
Laying a lot of points, though, Frank.
That is a lot of points. I just, at 7, it's at 7 now, right?
Yes, 7 minus 110.
Yeah, I have it at 8, so it's getting close to my number anyways. But I still think I like the 49ers at home. Against the Chargers did not impress me against Atlanta whatsoever. I'm not, I think I left the casino at halftime.
Yeah, you did.
Atlanta was ahead. I think I was counting my money on Atlanta.
They were ahead.
And San Diego just looked bad, but apparently when I got home, they went ahead.
Yeah. I mean, Atlanta seems to have a tendency to piss away games, which
Atlanta's not the 49ers,
which is why I took the Panthers on our teaser of the week, because if you're going to give me 3 with the Panthers, and the Panthers probably should have beat them at Atlanta. I mean, that seems like a pretty good bet to me. It did go overtime. Yeah. I mean, the Panthers should have won outright, honestly, but some refs things. I mean, I'm sure everyone saw it on ESPN and SportsCenter and everything.
Carolina's at home. It's in their conference. I think it's wise for Carolina.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry to get you off track, though. Back to the 49ers and
I
Chargers.
Think that's about how much I can really say on the 49ers. I have nothing but the 49ers defense. I know they really dropped in the last 5 since the beginning of the season, but I think they can do it against the Chargers.
Listen, this Chargers team, they got ran all over by Atlanta, and this 49ers backfield, as we see every single year with the offensive line and the running back stable, and
I got that new running back.
Kyle Shanahan just making all sorts of kind of plays. Yeah, they have McCaffrey. So this 49ers team is going to run all over the Chargers. And I don't know if this Chargers offense, without Keenan Allen, he might come back this next week, without Mike Williams, can come out and they can score on this 49ers defense, because it's impressive. It's very impressive. It's a top 5 defense in the NFL. I think in yards gained, they're actually the best defense in the NFL. I think that they're allowing less than 300 yards, 285.9 yards a game, which is very impressive for this day and age in the NFL. They're allowing 18 points, and they're in a tough division with a lot of high-powered offenses. So I like to play, Frank. I can't fault you on it. I don't think the Chargers are going to be able to move the ball very well, and I think this 49ers team can run all over the Chargers. But let's move on to my last play, huh? And I wish I wore my jersey, ladies and gentlemen. I just wish.
Oh, wait till I throw some bad news to him.
You couldn't. I have Detroit +3 at home against Chicago. And let me tell you something, guys. I've been preaching it for the last 3, 4, 5 weeks. I get it. Chicago's offense looks a lot better now. Their defense is completely beatable, and this Detroit offense, specifically in the running game, and this Detroit offense has a nice stable of running backs. And I think that Swift, this might be his breakout game. He's been kind of had a lower volume of touches. They're still trying to ease him back. You know, they're not super in the playoff picture. But I think this week he might just go off. So maybe look at those player props for DeAndre Swift. I'm not saying take him. I'm just saying maybe give him a look.
What's the total in this game?
I was just about to get there, Frank. You always steal my thunder. You're supposed to be the lightning to my thunder.
Well, it just came to me as you were mentioning Swift. I kind of forgot about him myself.
I know. You love that guy too.
Yes, I do. And Chicago just lost their middle linebacker and went to the Ravens.
Yeah, Roquan Smith is gone.
He kicked some ass last night in Baltimore, boy.
I know. Very impressive.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But the point is, Frank, is that both of these defenses are very, very beatable. The question is who has the better offense. And we've seen the Chicago Bears offense be impressive these last couple weeks. And we've seen their defense be very unimpressive these last couple weeks. Now, I like the Lions defense more than I like the Bears defense, and I like the Lions offense a little bit more than I like the Bears offense. So you're going to give me 3 points at home to take the Lions, where I think both of their units are probably a little bit better, in my personal opinion, than the Bears. I'm taking it all day, Frank, all day and 3 times on Sunday. It's probably my biggest bet this week. I do like the Rams, like I said.
I have a question.
Stay tuned for Saturday night.
I have a question.
Go ahead. Give it to me, Frank. Give me your question.
I think I have. Is Detroit at home or is Chicago at home?
I thought Detroit was at home, but it might be Chicago. On our board, you have.
I know.
You might have. Oh, it is Chicago at home.
That's what I thought.
My bad. But still.
But I know you still love it.
But I still love it.
Yep.
I would have loved it even more at home. But I still love Detroit getting +3 on the road, -110. I mean, it's a perfect teaser leg for me. It's a perfect money line leg for me. That's why we have it in the Dakota Dog of the Week, which we're going to hit 3 times in a row. I feel it. I mean, listen, no one's giving Detroit the respect they deserve because they haven't been winning games, but they've been in, if not leading, every single game this year against great teams. Against Dallas, they probably should have won that game.
Came close to Philadelphia.
Against Philly. Came close. One of the closer teams that's played Philly.
Swift really did his damage that game.
Just beat the Steelers. Everyone loves Miami. They were in that game the whole game. They were leading for a decent amount of it. I mean, listen, this Lions team, look to them and look to fade the Bears. Everyone's on the Bears. I think this is the time where we can get a buy low spot on the Lions maybe and a sell high spot on the Bears.
I'm going to go back to what was the over in this game?
Oh, God, I know. It's 48.5, and it's a big lean for me because, like I said, both these defenses are putrid, and 49 and over-unders is a very, very key number. So if you want it, as soon as you watch this video, go to your online sports book or go down to your local casino and bet it now before it gets to that 49 and a half. Because actually, Frank, I think this total opened last week the pre-line was 45 and a half.
And it moved up to 40.
And it's already moved up to 48 and a half after last week's game. Yeah, so bet it now because it's only going up.
I think he's right with the over. I think why I like Chicago to actually score points because, again, Detroit's defense is not all that great.
Yes.
But Detroit has trouble with quarterbacks with mobility. If Fields, he did 174 yards last week. And he can run around. And I think that could hurt Detroit. I don't know if it's going to hurt them. I think Detroit's still going to win this game. I agree with him completely on this pick. But I do like the over because Chicago is going to put some points on the board. And Detroit's definitely going to put some points on the board. What was that score? I know I'm trying to hit your memory. What was the score in that Philadelphia-Detroit game? Was that like 35?
It was 38-35.
What was it again?
38-35.
You might see those kind of numbers in this game.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. It might go. I wouldn't be surprised if it went way over. I mean, maybe if your line does alternate totals and that, I mean, you might be able to, take an over 50 and a half, 49 and a half, and I don't know, get some plus money if you want. I like the 48 and a half. I would just take it there. But you could do a ladder bet, which is something we don't really talk about, but I'll go into it real quickly, where you take, a lower line with good odds, put a large wager on it, and then slowly creep up the line if you can, if your book allows alternate spreads with lower and lower and lower and lower wagers. And then you get into big plus money, and if you win all of them, it's a huge cash. If you win the first one, you make a little bit of money. But that's a little bit more of expert betting, if you will. But, Frank, I do want to say one thing before we get out of here. Is there any games you want to challenge me to a little bit of a showdown in?
I was gonna throw Chicago at you.
You were, huh?
I was.
Because I'll take it every day of the week.
No, I'm kind of I like Detroit with the points. I think if I can get that over a field goal.
I'm trying to get some free dinner, Frank.
Yeah, I noticed that. I don't see anything on the board that I can challenge you with. Let me look real quickly here.
Yeah, come on, Pan. Use those old eyes.
Oh, okay.
I know you have cataracts.
All right. I have a Cadillac.
Oh God, his ears are going too, ladies and gentlemen. We're screwed.
All right. How about Miami against Cleveland? What I got it at -5. You got -3. The line's what, 4?
You want me to take Cleveland?
I'm originally from Cleveland, and I moved to Vegas in the early '80s, and I've still got Cleveland in the back of my heart.
Frank, do you want me to take Cleveland, or are you taking Cleveland?
How do I bet against Cleveland?
Okay, we get it.
Miami's looking good.
We get it. There's nothing on the board that I can tease your mind
we're not
with.
Done. No, I got 2 more. All right. I know you like Washington.
I don't like them. I thought about putting it as a lean, ladies and gentlemen, because I think the spread's a little bit too high.
It is high, but Washington's offense is just. Did you tell me they were 17-7 against Minnesota at one time last week?
Yes, they were 17-7 to 7.
I left early, and it was 7-0 when I left the casino, and I thought Minnesota's defense was just playing great. But we're talking the Eagles' defense at home.
Yeah, but the Commanders' defense looks pretty good too. I mean, their defensive line is
good.
one of the highest pressure rates in all of the NFL.
Yes, it is, and you're right. 10.5's tough. All right, that's why we're not playing these.
Okay,
games,
nothing. There's nothing out there for me.
Oh man, I'm on dinner. I'm hungry.
I know.
All right,
you know what?
We'll pass.
And if you come check out our comments Saturday night, we might have a little showdown with me and Frank. Something you guys can watch. Something you guys can laugh about.
Yeah,
when I beat Frank.
We'll have some more picks
because I always do.
I know I will have more picks by then.
Yeah. So check out our comments Saturday night. I'm gonna recap the games really quick. Frank has Rams -3, Seattle +2.5, 49ers -7, and I have Rams -3, Detroit +3. And then our Dakota Dog of the Week and our Teaser of the Week, which, ladies and gentlemen, we have hit back-to-back weeks. We've got Steelers and Lions money line. That's going to get you +387 at our FanDuel Sportsbook. Check out your sportsbook. And then we got a Teaser, -120, Rams to +3, Panthers to +9. Well, Frank, it's been a great show. Check out our page Saturday night. Check out our video Wednesday night. Give us the like and subscribe. And Let's cash these tickets.
Sounds like a plan.